Okay, so happy Wednesday. I am so honored to be doing the Rising Stars call with you guys. My name is Rachel Mitchell, and I am a 3-star diamond coach, and I have been a coach for a little over 3 years now. And I am very, very honored to be doing this call, like I said. And so I actually did this call in January at a Super Saturday at like a diamond training for Melanie. And so I am going to share it with you guys and just kind of add to it as I see fit. But let me share my screen with you guys. And guys, if you have any questions, like while I'm talking, just unmute yourself, ask me questions. I am happy to help. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And I'm sharing this in Canva. So y'all just make sure and let me know that you can see this. I don't really know how to make it bigger because I don't have the slides. Can y'all see that? Can you see it okay where it says raise the bar? Yes. Anybody? Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So Melanie asked me to do this call or to do this training in January for a group of diamond leaders. And so it's really appropriate. And if you've heard it before, just bear with me. But a lot of it has, a lot of it is still applicable, definitely in my business. So a little bit about my story. Like I told you, I started in August of 2014. So I've been a coach for 3 years now. And I went, how, when some coaches are like pushing for a goal or a rank advancement goal, I think Melanie was kind of in that point of her business, and she put us, I got to Emerald really quickly. And then within like 4 or 5 months, I was a diamond coach. And, I think she was pushing for a goal then for that year, and which is great. That did not bother me at all. Like, I'm glad she pushed me to get to diamond. But once I got to diamond, I got there kind of really quickly, and I built myself with discount coaches and like my husband and my mom and, all these people. And so like, once I got to diamond, I was really kind of stuck. So this really fits in well with our diamond now what kind of focus this month because I got to diamond, but I was still for me, a newbie coach. Like I work full time. I am a college history instructor. And so like I'm off a lot, but at the same time, I do work 8 to 3 every single day. And, I was definitely working this business around that and around my family. Okay. And so I did have to give up a lot of things. So like if you're at that point where like it's just too much work, I can't do this, like I'm having to stay up late and get up early, well, you just kind of have to, especially if you work full time. Like it's worth it to me. I gave up TV shows. I gave up like Thursday out with some girlfriends from time to time. I would get up at like 4:15 every single morning to do my devotion and get my workout in and do a little bit of work before I hit the ground running. But I was definitely working this around my family and my full-time job. And so like once I hit diamond, at that point you really have to start building a team. And I was very intimidated by that. I was very intimidated by talking about coaching. I was intimidated by trying to train new coaches, and I kind of just stalled. And it says here, like I stayed at diamond for 20 months. Okay. So I actually dropped rank a couple times, which I'm not excited to share with you, but it did happen. Hey guys, if you'll just mute yourself as you come on, that would be good. Thank you. I guess I can do that too. But I did stay at diamond for a really long time. And it's honestly, I can't make excuses. It was just because of myself. Like I was not doing the work. I was letting my fear hold me back. And I just didn't go for it. Like I didn't take Melanie's advice on how to talk about coaching, about, recruiting coaches and putting them in her trainings. I kind of felt this pressure to do it all myself. And I was putting that pressure on myself for sure. So I share here, some of the obstacles that I have faced and do face as a coach are, one, I work full time. Not that my boys are an obstacle, but, there's definitely a fine balance between being a mom and being a coach, because like I honestly could spend 18 hours of the day working on my coaching business because I love it. Like it could consume me very easily. So I have to really balance that very finely and intentionally. You know, I too, I know a lot of you guys, I see a lot of people say, you know, I've got all these coach cancellations, my challengers aren't sticking with it. You know, I don't want to be salesy. You know, I don't know how to train new coaches. Like, those are all fears and doubts that I faced for those 20 months. And honestly, that I still face. Like, every time I have someone who says, you know, like, I'm interested in coaching, tell me more. Like, my gut, like, I just have this like kind of just not sinking feeling in my gut, but like this twisting feeling, like, oh my gosh, how do I explain to them what coaching is without overwhelming them? What if they join and they don't do it? What if they join and it's too much work? Like, I have all these doubts and fears that I'm constantly having to overcome in my own mind and just push past them in order to recruit and build my team. And obviously, once you hit diamond and you do start to grow a team, it does require extra time. It does require leadership skills. It does require working with different types of people, with expanding your market. And these are all things that definitely take time. And I was overwhelmed by that at first. And when that, you know, all of these things just kind of made me shut down as a diamond coach. And so I stayed at diamond for 20 months and did not grow. I was recruiting coaches. I was running challenge groups. I've hit Success Club every month I've been a coach. But I definitely hit this period of just stagnancy for a really long time. And so I want to kind of tell you today, like, how did I get out of that? And so like when it was December 2015 and I was still a diamond coach, I was like, what in the world, Rachel? Like, you either have to decide you're going to go through this, or you are just going to, like, not necessarily quit, but that was a thought, or or you're just going to have to focus on running challenge groups and hitting Success Club and let that be your jam. But I knew that there was so much more potential to this. And like, I didn't want to just stop. And so I really had to do a December 2015, before we rolled into 2016, I had to do a lot of evaluating. I had to look at my power hour. I had to look at my daily behaviors. I had to look at my posts, which is not always fun, guys. Like, going back and reviewing your posts and saying, okay, am I just kind of like skimming the surface of what I could be doing, of what I could be sharing, of talking about coaching, or am I really going for it? And I knew that I was not. And so what I did was I did all those things. I evaluated, I looked at what I was doing, what I was not doing. I looked at my team. I looked at retention. I looked at the number of people that were staying on Shakeology. And of course, now, Beachbody sends you that wonderful, like, how often do they send that thing? Is it like once a year, twice a year, where they tell you how many people you have on Shakeology, how many coaches you recruited, all that stuff? That kind of, when I get that email, I'm like, I have to pray before I open it, because it can really mess with my brain. But Beachbody kind of does that for you. And so I evaluated, and I decided in January of 2016, I was going to do this. I was going to run a monthly sneak peek every single month by myself. I was not going to invite people to Melanie sneak peeks anymore. I was not going to do that, because they were going to her sneak peeks and they were watching her, and they had no idea what it was going to be like to be on Rachel's team. So I committed to running a monthly sneak peek every single month. And I did it, guys. Like, all of 2016, I did it. And I can tell you, there were probably like 4 or 5 months where nobody showed up. Nobody showed up to my monthly sneak peek. You know what I did? I recorded it anyways, and I used that as a resource to send to people. And I would just choose the one that I liked the best, that I felt the most confident in, and I would save that, upload it to YouTube. And whenever people expressed interest in coaching, if it wasn't that time of the month where I was doing a sneak peek, I would send them that video. It was a great resource. It was great practice, and it really pushed me outside my comfort zone. And I also began to set that example for my coaches and for my team too, to create that recruiting focus, right? I began to talk about coaching more. I really I guess that I thought, like, for a long time that I had to constantly be saying, join my team, join my team, join my team. But that's not necessarily the only way to recruit and to talk about coaching. Like, I began to talk about, the fact that, like, on a payday or a weekend or something, like, I was able to go out on a date with Matt, and we didn't have to worry about where the money was going to come from. Or, like, if we bought a new set of tires, like, $800 is a lot of money. And before, we would have to stress about that. And, with coaching, it enabled me to do that. Or I would talk about friendships that I had made, or talked about just confidence that I had grown in, or what God had shown me. It revealed to me about myself as a leader and my potential. And so, like, I began to just get really creative about how I talked about coaching. And I wasn't constantly saying, join my team, join my team, join my team. But I think Jen Guthrie did a training. There's a training of hers where she said that like she challenged herself to work the word coach into every single post. I don't do that, but I do aim to talk about coaching in some way, at least 3 or 4 times a week, every single week of the month. Whereas before I was just talking about it like the last 2 weeks of the month. And so like I want people to see on a daily basis how coaching has changed my life. I started to run my own monthly Coach Basics. Again, this was painful. Like it was painful because I would have like one new coach and they would drop out about halfway through. Or I'd have a couple and they would be really excited for a couple weeks, or you just have that one that was really pushing for it. You guys know how it is. Like, not everybody that signs up as a coach really goes for it, but I did commit to running my own monthly Coach Basics, and I did that for my team as well. And I'm going to tell you now, like I do that a little differently. I don't run a Facebook training or anything like that, but I'll explain that in the end if you guys want me to. I committed to a weekly team call. This was big for my team and creating that culture of, like we had our own team. We had our own little family, something for not everybody shows up to our team call every week, but there are those that are committed and that do love this. And it's in place for new coaches, especially to come to. And I just train them, like this month, I'm actually not doing a team call. We're just listening to Melanie's, but we're doing a live power hour every week. But I like to have that weekly team call for my coaches because we are a team. And the more that you can create that cohesiveness, that community, that family within your team, then the more likely your coaches are to stick with it. Another thing that I did was I found a success partner. My success partner in 2016 reached out to me halfway through the year, and I wasn't really looking for one. I didn't really realize that I needed one, but when we started, it was a game changer. Just kind of talking once a week or once every other week, and saying, hey, we did push each other, but it was more like we just shared what we were doing in our business and what our goals were. And so she would call me, and she's really good at the business side of coaching, and I am stronger at like the relationship, sharing my story part of it. And so we would just play off of each other. Like we would tell each other what we're doing, what kind of posts we wanted to make, what personal development we were reading, or, ask questions of each other. And it was just, guys, we do this. Like we sit behind this computer all the time and we do this, like we do these team calls and stuff like that. But like having that one person that you could go to and have that relationship with where, they would push you,
Right.
guys, like if you find a success partner, make sure that you're looking for somebody who calls you out, somebody who challenges you, somebody who pushes you to be better and to be stronger. Because if you just find somebody that's like you and that just says yes to whatever you say, then that's not going to do you any good whatsoever. So a success partner is a big thing. And it may not be like, my success partner then, we don't talk as much now because we're kind of at different points in our business, but we do still talk. And you may find that you'll have different partners for different seasons of your business, but definitely find someone. This group is a great group. There's some strong people in here. Find somebody who is really good at something that you're not so good at, and just help each other. I had to begin mindset is a huge thing in coaching because, this is something that we do on our own. Nobody forces us to coach. Nobody forces us to show up and do our power hour. Nobody forces us to recruit. And so like your mindset is a huge part of your success. And before I changed my mindset, every time I got a coach cancellation, it messed with my head. Every time I saw that somebody stopped ordering their Shakeology, or they dropped out of the challenge group, or they just ghosted on me, like it would mess with my brain. And so in 2016, when I was committing to all these things, I was like, okay, I know I will have coaches who will cancel. I know challengers will quit. I know that people will not answer my messages and my invites. I know that that's going to happen. If I'm anticipating that, then I'm not going to allow it to seep into my brain and make me question myself and my intention. And so I began to anticipate those things instead of dread them, honestly. Another thing that I committed to doing was reviewing my social media monthly. So the easiest way for me to do that is, like when you go to your Instagram, and you can, pull up your Instagram page and you just see all your your photos, you know, from the last whenever, you know, I would look at that and I would say, okay, there's too many pictures of me. There's not enough value added, or there's not enough real life. If like all my workout poses look the same, then I need to switch it up and make it more interesting. So I committed to, and also I was looking to see, like, did I talk about coaching? And I had to tell Melanie, like this week when she asked me to do this call, I was like, oh, I kind of feel like a hypocrite doing this call, because this last month my coaching game has not been like 100%. Like you know, going back to school and my kids going back to school and me really, really, really wanting to be at home full time, it just kind of got me down, and I just haven't been on my coaching game. But this is good, because this reminds me of what I need to do. And, you know, I look back at my social media posts and I know that I've got to step it up. I've got to talk about it more. And one of my success partners, were really my main success partner now, like, we're challenging each other to talk about coaching every single day and to really step it up in recruiting this month and doing our sneak peek. So review your social media every single month. Review it every week. Heck, I mean, really, we should be doing it every week. And then some things, you know, as you grow, like I said, you are going to face new obstacles. You're going to face new challenges. And so time management is definitely one of those things. You know, as you grow your team, as you grow the number of people that you're leading, you have to learn to manage your time, guys. You've got to make your personal business your top priority. So I can easily get sucked into worrying about my coaches. Are they hitting Success Club? Are they doing their power hour? Are they learning? Are they showing up? And neglect my own. And I have to do my own power hour every single day. Like, I have to keep my base of a solid foundation of this business. And I do that by adding new friends, by connecting with people, by sending hey girl messages, by creating my own events every month and inviting people to that. So my number one goal every month is Success Club 10, to find new people, to find new challengers. And then I look at helping my team and growing my team. Okay. So time management is huge. Finding a system for training new coaches. And I'm going to share about that next. But, you know, that was something very important to me, because, like, I was honestly just signing coaches, and, you know, I would do a getting started right call with some, or not one with another. I would send a welcome email to one, and I would forget to with the other. You know, it was just a mess until I really committed to this. Train your leaders. Like, do you have people that maybe are emerald, diamond, or you know, or have the potential to do that? Train your leaders to help. Like, now I recruit leaders on my team to do team calls for us. I recruit leaders on my team to help with Coach Basics calls. Train your leaders to help you. Otherwise, you're going to just be swimming in all this extra work, and you won't be able to manage it. Like I said, team up for coach trainings. Timmy Parks is she is my main success partner. We do our trainings together. That's a really good idea if you don't have time, if you work full time, or, you know, like, it really helps my team to learn from other coaches too. So I think it's always good to team up for coach trainings, whether it's your Coach Basics or your 4 Vitals groups. Obviously track your business. I say obviously, but I didn't really do that well for like a year. But definitely track your business. I use Google Streak now. It helps me a lot to keep up with names, with emails, with conversations, and all that stuff. I like Google Streak a lot. This was a big one for me, guys. Like, don't drag your coaches. For all of 2015, if somebody would sign up as a coach with me, like, I would just stop and do everything, like, just focus on that individual, whether they were like 100% committed or not. And I found that I drug like 2 or 3 coaches for months, and they didn't want it. They didn't want it like I did. And the people that want it are the people that are going to take what you give them and run with it. So you just have to constantly stay in recruitment mode. You have to have that system for training new coaches. You give everyone the same opportunity, and the ones that are going to go for it and run with it are the ones that are going to do it no matter what you do. So don't drag your coaches. And definitely use your upline. Obviously, we have Melanie. You have great uplines here. And use them to help you when you're struggling. So my new coach onboarding system was just this. Like, I developed a new coach welcome email. I think I used part of it for Melanie, added to it my own. I include a link to my team page in there. I do not add new coaches to my team page. I do not add them. If they don't click on that link and join for themselves, then they just don't get in there. Because to me, that if they decide to do that, then I can tell, initially, who really wants to do this? Like, who wants to be part of that community? Who really wants to go for it? And so I don't add them. I send them a link to join my team page and let them do it themselves. And when they do, I do a big welcome in our team page. There's a Google form in my new coach welcome email. I think I got this from Bianca, maybe. I'm not sure, but it's a Google form, and it asks them questions. It tells them they have to like go through the basics of like, what is Success Club? What's a challenge pack? How to use the Coach Mobile, how to go into their Coach Online office and all the basics. It's not real long. Sometimes it takes coaches longer to go through it than others. But when they finish it, they have to check off each one to show me that they've done it. And when they get to the end of it, my cell phone number is in there. They text me and they say, hey, I'm finished. And then I set up a Getting Started Right call. Again, because like if I set up a Getting Started Right call with every new coach that joins my team, then I'm going to spend all this time doing these calls. And I don't know if they're going to work for it or not, but if they go through this form and they complete it, then I know that they're committed to at least that. And then I set up the Getting Started Right call. I do provide training. I used to run a Coach Basics in Facebook every single month, but now I've created my own. It's a self-paced training through thinkific.com. And what I did was I just took actually, it's kind of a combination of Melanie's and what's available in the Coach Online office for us as leaders to train our coaches. It's really good if you've never read through it. And so I just put it in this self-paced coach training. And I can share that link with you guys if you guys have not seen that. But I give it to them. I say, okay, start here. I encourage them to go through it one day at a time. And I run a weekly call for new coaches on Tuesday nights. And so again, the people that are going to do it, they do it. And the people that aren't, that weren't going to do it anyways, whether I posted in Facebook or not, they don't do it. And so I just committed to not dragging my coaches. Another thing, since I don't run that Facebook training every month, I do keep a message thread open for my new coaches. It's just in Facebook Messenger, and I usually like encourage them in some way every single day, or give them a little challenge, like share the first names of 5 people that you invited to our challenge group today. And so like I'm not just like not communicating with them. It's very important that I communicate with them, but I was spending so much time. Timmy and I both were spending so much time in our Facebook trainings, and those coaches just weren't showing up. And it was honestly kind of a waste of our time when we could be spending it doing something else. So I still provide that support system with the weekly coach call. They have access to me, if they have questions, and I stay checked in with them through a Facebook message thread. So you may have any questions about that, or I'll just wait till the end if y'all want me to. I do definitely encourage you guys to set goals. I'm sure you talk about this a lot with your upline. This is something that I encourage my team to do at least twice a year. And so like whenever I was setting goals for I'm just showing you from 2016, because that's really when the shift happened. And you can see that my little kids scribbled all over it. But that is, set business goals, set family goals. Like I set goals for like our community, being able to contribute financially to things in our community, to being able to serve in our community. And so my goals, this is from 2016. My goals are much bigger now. Honestly, I should have put in a picture of my goals for this year. But it's Coach Basics site. I'll show you, Michelle, whenever I get finished. It was called Thinkific though. But this chalkboard stays in my office, and obviously it's got my 2017 goals on it now, but it's in my coach office. Oh, here they are. They're right here. These were my 2017 goals at the beginning. I've actually increased some a good bit, and I've actually hit a lot of these goals already. I'm not 5-star yet. I have the potential to be. I'm not going to say I'm going to be, because you guys all know how that goes. But I have the potential to be. I did get my second business center to Diamond. I am consistently recruiting 3 coaches a month. Actually, my goal is 5 coaches a month. And that includes, maybe a couple of discount coaches, but I want at least 3 working coaches a month. Family vacations, 2 date nights a month. So you can see, like, these are not just like Beachbody goals. I've more than matched what I make as a teacher with Beachbody this year. So on a monthly basis, I'm actually making more than I make as a teacher with Beachbody. I have a house cleaner. Woohoo! Praise the Lord. I do, I don't know that I would say I read 1 whole PD book a month. I'm like that despise personal development person. I get about 3/4 of the way through it and it's hard to finish, but I try really hard. I don't run a monthly Saturday Fit Club because honestly, that does not, it's not something that people were consistent in, and it wasn't really helping my business at all. And so like I find that I can help more people through my online accountability groups. So I don't do that. I definitely aim to insert my faith. I mean, my faith motivates me. It's what drives me. And I've been shy about that before. And that's what I love about coaching is it allows me to be bolder in that area of my life. And I am building my blog following. I'm starting to get more people that contact me through my blog. So, I mean, some of these goals I've already updated, but that it's kind of cool to look at that and see that I've done some of that. Another big thing was that I found that I was really just working hard, and I was not making my own personal growth a priority. And so, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar, and faith may not be your jam, but it is mine. It's what moves me. But Michelle Myers, she's a coach too, but she works his way. She has a daily devotion. It's an app that I do every single day. And most of the people that do those devotions, including her, are actually Beachbody coaches. And so that's something that really actually fuels my fire. Personal development, definitely. You hear it from day one. You cannot skip this part. Some of my favorite personal development books are, sorry, I'm blank. I'm reading the 10X Rule right now, which is really, really good. This one, You Were Made for God-Sized Dreams, is it's a more of a motivational. It's not so much like business minded, but it's very good about like building your dreams. Let's see. I also like the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That's helped me a lot, by John Maxwell, as a leader to grow in that area. And so that's been very important. I've really invested more in that this past year, the past 2 years. And obviously, guys, like, make your health a priority. Like, I see so many coaches who are working so hard, but they don't follow the meal plans. They don't do the workouts. They don't drink their Shakeology every day. And if your health is not a priority, if you're not getting results, if you're not having your own transformations from these programs that we're encouraging other people to use, then you're not going to be as successful. And this last thing was, this was a quote from one of my coaches. It's actually a coach that hopefully is going diamond tomorrow. But she said, and this really stuck with me, because obviously income's important, rank, that's exciting. But if we don't have a deeper purpose for why we're building a team, for why we're recruiting people, if you don't have a vision for how you want to help other women, men, whatever it is, with this business, then you're not going to stick with it. But this is something that Jade said to me. And she said, I almost accepted a shadowed life, that I wasn't meant for much. But those tables have turned, and it's because of the example you guys lead. And she said that in our team. And this is a girl who went from like introvert to not extrovert, but she's so much bolder and more confident in who she is with her body, with her business, and her marriage. And, coaching helped her do that. And that is a huge part of my vision in helping women with that. Just become, who God created them to be, to have a passion and a purpose that maybe they didn't have before. And this was from I can't remember which book it was, but somebody said, welcome to the freak show. If you live a normal life, you'll have a normal life. And what we do as coaches is not normal. I mean, it's not normal. Like somebody said it the other day, nobody says I want to grow up and be a Beachbody coach, do they? It's not something when you're a kid that you're just like, oh, I want to be a Beachbody coach. I mean, it's definitely something that's abnormal, and our society maybe views it that way. I think it's becoming more normal, which is exciting, but you just can't expect to do this and have everybody agree with you and have everyone just be really ready and to jump on board and say, yes, I want to be part of your team. But you can show them the great, you can show them the good, you can show them the struggles, and you can find people like you who want to do this. And this, again, I'm just going to end it with, this is a quote that I loved from that book. You were made for God-sized dreams. No matter how passionately you feel about your dream, that is not enough to make it reality. At some point, you've got to shift from your lips to your hands and just do the work. Don't be fooled into believing that saying something is the same as getting it done. And that's kind of like my transition story. I was as a diamond coach, I was saying I wanted this. I was saying I want to be a 1-star, 2-star, whatever. I want to grow a team, but I wasn't actually doing the work. And when I decided to stop saying it and start doing the work, then that's when things changed. So let's see, Thinkific. Do you guys want me to show you my Thinkific training, like that self-paced training? Okay. Let me find it. If anybody has questions while I'm doing that, just unmute yourself. But the other person asked what the app was. It's called She Works His Way. And it's Michelle Myers created it. That's a devotion. Hold on. All right. All right. So this is my Thinkific training, and it's just it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just go in there and you set it up. But let's see. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Show you my curriculum. But I just send my new coaches a link to this, and I just tell them, create a free account, get started, go through it. So like it's separated. Like I took the new coach training guide and basically made these modules. And so there's the whole guide right there. It's a PDF. They can download it. There's a prep module, how to get started. So, let's see. I should be viewing this as a student, but I'm not. Hold on. And then they start with week 1. Day 1 is launch your business as a Beachbody coach. They've got the stuff in there. I use some of Melanie's resources. I use some of mine. I create my own videos. Day 2, they've launched their business, and I talk to them about inviting, and then they just work through it at their own pace. And it's everything that I was posting in the Facebook page. I just put it into this curriculum where they go through it themselves. Let me see. I can show you as a student what it looks like. And I can go and I can look. Like I can see who's logged in, who's created an account, like how far they've made it. So this is what it looks like to them. Let's see. I tell them over and over about our team calls. Week 1 is launching your business, and they just work through it, at their own pace. And, it's good too for the people who maybe they're not going to run with it. Maybe they're not going to be my next diamond coach. Maybe they just want to hit Success Club and, run a challenge group and just do a little bit, do it like part-time, kind of as a hobby coach. They can work through it at their own pace, and that really works well for some people. How do I keep up with where they are in it? I can see, Becca, where they're at, like how far they've gotten. And so like when I check in with them, or if they schedule a call with me, like I'll look first and I'll say, like how are you doing with the Thinkific training? Like how far have you gotten? And, some people just go all the way through it. And, like I have had quite a few, like 3 or 4 coaches. I've just started doing it like the last couple of months, but I have a few who just go through it. Like they've been through it a couple of times and they use it as a resource. It's also a really good resource for even after people have gone through it, they can go back and reference different things. And so like I even open it up to my downline coaches. So coaches who aren't ready to necessarily lead their own coach trainings, or they haven't created their own. I do have some coaches who have created their own Thinkific trainings, but I open it up to my downline coaches and they just go in there, create an account. And like I said, it sounds a little harsh, but the people that are going to do it are going to go through it and work through it and apply it. And they're going to ask me questions. And the ones that aren't are the ones that aren't. But it's really cool. It's totally free. You could do it like with your four vitals, or if you did like a diamond training or something like that, you could do, I need to do that. I need to create a diamond curriculum for my coaches. I just haven't done it yet. So, but I like it. And I'm not spending all that time posting in Facebook, reminding people. Like I just give them the training. I give them everything that they need, to get started and to be successful. And, some use it and some don't. So that's it. A weight lifted. Oh yeah, absolutely. Timmy and I run these together, run our coach stuff together. And, it was just Timmy and I posting in there. Like nobody was posting, nobody was responding. And that stressed me out. Like that it made me angry a little bit too. And it stressed me out. And that's just relieves that pressure. So like, I know if they are responding to my messages in Facebook, if they're showing up for Coach Basics calls, those are the ones that are working, and I work harder with them, and I make myself available to everyone, but not everybody goes for it. And it's a weight lifted, for sure. That's a good way to put it. Does anybody else have any questions? Does this help to give you ideas? And like I said, I had to do a gut check. Like, I've got to step up my recruiting game this month. Like, if I want to keep growing and not fall back, like, I personally have to start recruiting way more. And I've got to get bolder. That was one thing I don't think I mentioned. Like, the boldness, the way you talk about coaching, the words that you use, it makes a big impact on the type of people that you recruit. And I have worked really hard to really relay in my posts, like how hard I work. I mean, obviously at times I work harder than others, but if people expect this to be something that they have to put time into, then you're still going to get those people that are like, oh, I can't do it if I'm overwhelmed, or this is just way more than I thought it was. And like, it is, absolutely, no matter how hard you work, like it's a lot in the beginning, and you do a lot of work for very little. And I try to make that clear in my posts, and I can see that, as I do that more, like, I recruit those people who are harder workers and who are more willing to go for it. And I'll tell you, like, I'm struggling right now because I kind of am in a transition period. Like, I still work, but I plan to not be working this time next year, honestly. But I can't really say that, I can't really recruit women or moms who want to stay at home because I don't stay at home. But I just have to be very creative in how I talk about it, and how I, express my vision and my goals. But there's so much. If you do work, if you don't stay home, whatever, if you do stay home, there's so many ways to talk about coaching. Don't limit yourself to like your rank or your income or what, like, your lifestyle. I mean, like, there's so many ways to talk about coaching, and you just have to be doing it every single day. Like, I wouldn't get up and work out at 5 o'clock every morning if I wasn't a coach. I just know I wouldn't. I wouldn't have that level of accountability, but it keeps me going. My challengers keep me going. My nutrition would not be what it is if I was not a coach. Like, this gives me accountability. And then just get creative in how you talk about coaching, and that makes a big difference too. Okay. Is that good? Anybody have questions? All right. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you. I'm going to go back to my other job now and do it. Well, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday on this call. Bye.